All right. So, plan for today. Let me turn off my monitor so I'm not listening to myself all the time. So, plan today. I'm going to figure out how to start making video games. I'm going to start streaming here on Kick as much as I can. We'll see how that goes. But just going to be in the just chatting section. Get some music going. Get some tutorials going. And let's learn how to make video games. This will be a full series later on YouTube. But yeah, I want to start streaming to Kick. Let me tweet this out real quick. But yeah, all right. Tweet the stream. Let me do this number. Come on. Nope, nope, nope. All right. All right. Have that sent out. We're looking good on Kick. Let me pull up my dashboard. Exit out of that. And let's go with this playlist for right now. Of course, I have to deal with ads, but tis the nature of the game.
Welcome. In this video series, we're going to be learning to make a 2D platformer in Godot. We'll be setting up all of the usual things you'd see in a platformer, step by step, and I'll be providing all of the source code and the art that I'm using.
Let me shout this guy out first. So I'm going Paper Mouse Games. Starting off, I started with a different tutorial starting off in Godot, but I'm going to try something new. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Okay. So Paper Mouse Games. It looked like this was a 7 video playlist. So let's figure this one out.
In GitHub, so you can download it and follow along, or do it from scratch yourself. In this first video, we're going to be setting up the tile map, the physics, and the player controller. So let's jump right in. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using Godot 4.2.2.
Actually, change plans. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go back to the tutorial I already know.
Make sure that it's drawn first.
So this one's by Brackeys. I don't know.
Godot. 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 Whichever you prefer, if you want to use it to make a game, you've come to the right place. I've
done this tutorial before, so let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I think it was this one. Yeah, that should be fine. Godot did update since I did this last, so Okay, yeah. This was the game file that I used last time. It's more I want to go through this and remember everything. Okay, so I got game. I'm going to pull up the video because I already have this mostly worked out already. I just kind of want to get a refresher on what it is that I'm actually doing. So, yeah.
Video games for more than 14 years now, and recently I've fallen in love with Godot. Godot is a great choice.
Me too, even though I barely know how to use it.
Beginner-friendly. Also, it's open source and completely free to use. Now, you probably have a bunch of ideas of games that would be cool to make, but no matter if you're dreaming of making an FPS, a 2D platformer, or anything in between using Godot, the first step is, of course, to install it. Now, this process might be a bit tedious, but bear with me now. We go to godotengine.org, press download latest, Godot engine,
Okay.
and we're done.
I've already done this.
Ask us, name our project, say, first game. I'm going to place mine on my desktop under my games folder. Let's create a separate folder for first game, so hit create folder, and create an edit. And here we are, a clean slate, a blank canvas. Oh, I am so ready to make this game about, well, this might be a good time to decide what our game will be about. But first, this video is sponsored by Zenma. If you're excited about Godot 4,
it's sponsored by Zenma.
Academy. They offer comprehensive beginner and intermediate courses, including a fantastic free introductory course on Godot. What's really cool about Zenma is how they combine fun and practical learning through professional video tutorials, written lessons, and interactive quizzes. Plus,
let me check that out real quick. Does it cost anything? Source code, closed captions. It's free. All right, let's see if I'm human. Let me do this on my other monitor, so if anybody is watching this, nobody gets to steal my stuff. And let's throw some music back on. Well, I'm trying to log in and figure out the rest of this out. Okay, there is a trial period. It's $80 a year. Okay. Well, we like things free here. So I'm going to skip this section of the tutorial and let's go right into
adventure.
Let's keep doing this tutorial.
The basics of the engine and giving you an overview of how you can start using it to make things, I've put together the most basic game I could imagine. Think of it like food without salt. It doesn't have much flavor, but it does have a player, enemies, moving platforms, collectible coins, and most importantly, it should get you familiar with the engine in no time. Also, we'll be working in 2D, but another really cool thing about Godot is that it's very easy to transfer 2D concepts to 3D. So don't worry, if your dream game is in 3D, most of what you learn here is going to directly apply. As for programming, Godot uses its own scripting language called GDScript. It's pretty fast and easy to use, but still quite powerful. We'll do a bit of programming in this video to get you started, but the main focus is really to get familiar with Godot as a whole and to quickly get a game up and running. Because of this, I don't expect you to fully understand all the code you see. Feel free to write after me or just lean back and observe. Our next video will be about learning to program in GDScript. Alright, I promised you food without salt, so let's get cooking.
All right.
Now, to make our delicious game, we need ingredients. We need things
Got it.
like sprites, models, textures, and sounds.
All right.
These are called assets, and a game engine like Godot is not so much made for creating these from scratch, but more for putting everything together. It's really the stirring pot of making a game. Now, since I can't expect you to go shopping for assets at your local supermarket, I've used a bit of TV magic to prepare some beforehand. You can download them for free using the link below. I've bundled together sprites from the amazing Analog Studios and modified them a bit.
Okay.
Along with a
So we already
pixel
got
font,
that.
some custom sounds, and a cute little music track. It's also perfectly fine to use other assets you find on the internet. There are many great resources for free assets. Just make sure you check the license and give proper credit to the author. CC0 means
Always
that
give
assets
credit to
are
everybody.
free to use, and there's no requirement to credit. That being said, making your own assets is one of the places where you can really get creative, and I highly recommend you try it out as soon as you feel comfortable. Remember, you can always use
Not
these
doing that
assets
today.
as placeholders and then modify or replace them later.
Mhm.
Alright, let's get our assets into Godot.
Importing
Alright.
assets in Godot is extremely simple. The file system window is where we have all the files we use in our game. By default, the only thing in here is
So
the
it's gonna
Godot
be
icon.
right
let's
here.
create a folder where we can put our assets. Let's right-click, new folder.
So you can see all
name
my
it
sprites right
assets.
here.
Let's also make one for scripts and scenes that we can use later. Now we can simply drag and drop our assets into the asset folder. So I'll select the assets folder, open up my assets here. I'm going to select all the subfolders and click and drag them into Godot. And voila! We can now see and use all of our assets in
Okay.
Godot.
So I already did
So
that.
now we're ready to make our game. So let's talk about how we do that. To make anything in Godot, we use nodes. If we want to make a player character, we do so by putting together a bunch of nodes. If we want to
So one thing that I do know as going with Godot, I've worked a lot in Unreal Engine. Not for creating games. I haven't gotten that far yet. To me, it was a bit overwhelming just trying to jump into Unreal Engine. I've used it for cinematic 3D renders before, back when my computer could handle rendering out of Unreal Engine, not so much out of Blender. I have a much more powerful computer now, so yeah. What I'm trying to focus in on is trying to find a game engine that I can be comfortable with. So if I pull up my scripts, I understand this kind of. So GD script is very similar to Python. It's more of a simplified Python. Most of my coding experience is in HTML, CSS, and that's it. I have a degree in graphic design. I went through a web building course. That's what I learned. I can understand what I'm looking for in scripts because constant speed, and then this is my not a variable. Yeah, this would be a variable. I'm not explaining this well. Let me just continue the video.
want to make an enemy, we do so by putting together nodes. If we want to make a main menu, you guessed it, we use nodes. So nodes are the fundamental building blocks.
Oh, that's what I was trying to get at. Nodes. I'm used to editing with nodes. I've used Blender, Unreal Engine, and DaVinci Resolve all use node-based editing. That's what I'm used to. I'm not so much used to text-based coding. Node-based versus text-based coding. If that makes any sense. Let's continue.
Your game. The nodes come in many types. Some display an image, others play a sound, or add physics. And we can even extend existing nodes to build more powerful ones. So in its essence, making a game in
Which is the other reason why I want to learn scripting in text versus node-based, because I just want to understand in my head if I'm going to go back to using Unreal Engine, I need to know this node is doing this function and this is the code behind it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like once I have a scripting language that I can understand fully, I could also use GameMaker. I'm starting off with the Godot mainly because you can see this. I've already made this through this tutorial. I want to find what I'm comfortable with, and once I'm done figuring out which game engine I'm comfortable in, it's not going to be Unity. I'm not touching Unity. Maybe in the future, but right now, I'm not touching it. So, I want to find something that I'm very much comfortable with and can use for a long time. The reason why I am looking at Godot, not because it's the best, most powerful engine. It's something that I think that I can understand eventually. It's going to take time for me to fully comprehend all the concepts and everything. But where was I going with that? I want something that I can use long term, and it's going to be something that I own, which Godot is free and open source forever. If I can figure this out, I have more control on what it is that I actually create. That makes sense. Let's continue.
Godot is combining and extending nodes to get the result we're looking for. It's a super creative and fun process. But building everything in one big world with nodes for the player, enemies, UI, and a bunch of levels all in one place would quickly become completely unmanageable and confusing. Instead, we use scenes. Scenes allow us to bundle together nodes into reusable packages. A scene can be a character, a weapon, a menu. They can be as small as a single collectible coin or an entire level. Scenes make it really easy to focus on building one part of our game at a time, and then slowly combining them to make our game larger and larger. This is because we can put scenes inside of other scenes, which is called nesting, and allows us to take, say, a player scene, a platform scene, and a collectible coin scene, and put them all inside of another scene.
Let me do this. I am going to create a new project. Give me 1 second. I'm going to create a new project so I can actually follow along. I also need to figure out where I put all these assets that he's using. I have them somewhere. Is it this one? Nope. Let me throw some music back on. All right, so give me a second. I'm going to go and figure out where I put all these assets. Nope, that's not it. 2D game assets. Huh. Maybe it's in that. Okay, I found it. All right, cool. Let's set up a new folder. Call this assets. And then I should be able to just grab all these and throw them in there. Bam, there we go. All right.
A level 1 scene. And even cooler, since scenes are reusable, we can
All
make a scene only once and then use it all over our game. We can make many levels that all use the same collectible coin scene. And if we want to change something about our coin, we simply edit the scene and it automatically updates everywhere else. As you can see, all the nodes and scenes in our game start to resemble a tree-like structure. And that's exactly what we call it, the scene tree. And fittingly, we call the node at the very beginning of the tree the root. So now that we know a bit about how Godot works, let's start by making the most essential part of our game, the player character. Player 1.0.
All right.
So let's create a scene where we'll put everything together. This is going to be a 2D game, so I'll select 2D scene. And let's rename this from node 2D to game. And even though it's empty, let's go ahead and save it. So hit Control S, go under scenes, and let's save it here. And now we can actually play our game. It's not going to be very exciting, but let's save it here. Character.
Where do you
So
put that?
Let's create a scene where we'll put everything together. This is going to be a 2D game, so I'll select 2D scene. And let's rename this from node 2D to game. And even though it's empty, let's go ahead and save it. So hit Control S, go under scenes, and let's save it here. And now we can actually play.
I guess I need a new one. Scenes. Okay. Let's save that. All right, cool.
Our game. It's not going to be very exciting, but let's try it out. So
I'm
let's
excited.
Play up here or simply press F5. It's going to tell us that we haven't selected a main scene. We need to tell Godot which scene to run. I'm just going to press select current, and you can see that our game scene becomes blue to let us know that this is now our main.
Okay, select current. Okay. Cool.
Scene. And as you can see, not much is happening here. So let's stop playing by hitting the stop icon here or pressing F8. And let's put in a player to make it more exciting. So first off, let's create a new scene by hitting the plus sign up here. And this will be our player scene. And the root node for our player is going to be what is called a character body 2D. So let's add a new node by pressing the plus here or hitting Control A. And let's search for character body 2D. As you can see, this is a 2D physics body that is specialized for characters moved by script. So it's perfect for a player character that we want to be able to collide with the environment. So let's hit create. And now we can see our node here, but we can't actually see our player in the scene. So let's add some graphics. Let's add another node. I'm going to hit Control A. And let's search for sprite. And as you can see, we can choose a single sprite, or in our case, we want to create an animated character. So let's choose the animated sprite 2D. Sprites are just what we call images in our 2D.
I think that was what was throwing me off before when I was trying to do this by myself, because I didn't realize there was an animated sprite and just sprite 2D. I couldn't figure out how to animate the character I was trying to throw in. All right, cool.
World. Now, with this node selected, we can use the inspector here on the right to change properties on that node. If we select a different node, say our character body 2D, we can now see the properties on that node instead. So our inspector allows us to change things about a node. In our animated sprite 2D, we want to add some animations. And we want to give it some sprite frames, the individual frames that will make up our animation. So let's click here and add a new sprite frames. And now with this selected, we can see that it will open up the sprite frames window at the bottom. And in this window, we're going to press this tiny icon here that lets us add frames from a sprite sheet. So let's click that, go into our assets, under our sprites, and let's find our knight.png. And as you can see, I've gone ahead and packed all the different sprite frames of the knight's animation into a single image. This is called a sprite sheet. It's a very efficient way of working with lots of sprites, such as when doing animation. Otherwise, we would have to create an image for each single frame, which would quickly become an unmanageable amount of files. Now, to start adding these frames in, we first need to configure the grid here. Currently, it's set to 4 by 4. Let's go ahead and increase this. I've created an 8 by 8 grid here. And as you can see, each frame now has its own grid cell. And let's just start by adding the idle animation. To do this, we simply click the frames in the order that we would like. So I'm going to go from the left-hand side here and click. As you can see, it sets this to 0, the first frame.
Yep.
Then I'm going to click the next one and the next one and the next one. and now it goes from 0 to 3, and we'll
Okay,
play
that's
from
easy.
left to right. We can always click again to remove, and this is how you can quickly build an animation from different parts of your sprite sheet. So I'll select these 4 frames and hit add frames. Now let's hit F to center our character on the screen, and I'm going to use the scroll wheel to zoom in. We can also click and drag with the middle mouse button to pan. Now our character looks weirdly blurry. That's because we're working with pixel art, which requires really hard edges. By default, Godot is going to try to do some texture smoothing to make textures look better, but applied to pixel art, that is definitely not the case. So let's simply disable this. So let's go to Project, Project Settings. Let's go under Rendering to Textures. And here on the default texture filter, let's change this from linear to nearest, which will immediately make our pixel art look crisp. Then we
Nice.
can select our animated sprite, and let's try playing the animation. That looks great. I'm going to increase the FPS here to 10 to make it go a bit faster. I'm also going to rename the animation here to idle. I'm going to enable autoplay to make sure it plays right when we start the game.
So we got idle, and then you're doing what?
Increase the FPS here to 10 to make it go a bit faster. I'm also going to rename the animation here to idle. I'm going to enable autoplay to make sure it plays right when we start the game.
Didn't even need back up.
I'm going to take the sprite here and move it up to make it kind of stand on this line. And that's it for our graphics for now. We'll add more animations later. But as you can see, we're currently getting this warning here in the scene view. And if I hover over it, it's going to say that this node has no shape, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. And this is because a character body 2D is a physics node. And whenever we're working with physics, we need to define a shape that the physics engine can work with. So let's add a new node. I'm going to press the plus sign here. I'm going to search.
I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I can figure out what he's about to do before he does it, so I can actually learn this. So I am going to do collision shape 2D. I think that's what he's about to do next. Let's see if I was right.
For collision shape 2D.
I was right. Okay, great. And then I am going to use capsule and just get this thing around our boy right here. Let's make it a little bit smaller than him. That should be good, hopefully.
And here in the inspector, we can now define a new shape. I'm going to add a circle shape. I'm going to make
I want a
this
capsule.
bit smaller and drag it up. Somewhere around there looks fine. Now you're probably thinking, well, this is pretty far from our actual graphics, but that's totally fine. Colliders rarely need to be very precise. And it's a good rule of thumb to make them a bit smaller than the graphics if you need to. Having colliders that are too large is simply going to be frustrating when playing. So let's now rename the top node here to player. And let's save the scene, Control S, as player, hit save. And now we can go into our game scene and simply drag our player in here. So I'm going to go to the top here and drag in the player. We also need to create a camera so that
Where did he drag that from? Okay, so so I have. Let me make sure that I got this. So I have my game scene, which is where all my levels, where everything gets put together. I have my player, which is it's just gonna be its own little thing. I'm just gonna pause that right now. Guess that's gonna get to me if it keeps playing. So if I go in here, so scenes is what I bring into my main game folder to put into my level. And each one of these are its own nodes. I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Okay. So this is where I build my levels. This is where I build my player. All my scripting and everything will be attached to this player right here. It's an animated 2D sprite. So that makes it so that I can pull up a character sheet and I do this, I do that, and yada, yada, yada. I'll figure out how to. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit just because I want to try and understand this myself. So I'm going to do a run cycle. So I got my idle, my run. I'm going to take this, pull this up. Everything should be in frames. So this is him running. All I have to do, so this is, are these frames exactly the same? They kind of look like it. Not, okay. I'm going to add the 8 frames. Bump it up to 10. Okay. So that's him running. I'm going to save that. And I'm not clicking autoplay on load because that's going to be my idle animation. Let's just add all these animations in. What else we got? We have a roll animation. So I'm going to throw that in. Okay, add 8 frames. This is going to say roll. Why is it not playing? Because that's the stop button and the play button's over here. Okay, let's bump that up to 10. Okay, then I think we had one more, so let's create a new sprite sheet. Now we got a hit animation. Bam, 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 bam. Add 4 frames. I'm going to name this hit. So I got hit. Does it only... So it looks like... Let's drop down to 8. It looks like it filters alphabetically. I was kind of wishing... I mean, I'm sure it's not going to matter. We have one more animation to put in. So let's do our death animation. Add 4 frames. Name this death. If I play this. I don't know how to get it to not to loot. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay. I'm actually going to get rid of my death animation. I'll keep those ones in. So if I play this one, that's him getting hit. Idle. Rolling animation. Let me pause this because nope, 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 nope. Okay. change the collision on this dude. Let's make it nice and small. I just realized I messed up the animation. Okay. Okay. That's going to be fine for now. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the tutorial. Let's go back to our game. And let's throw... Nope. I want to throw the player in. How did I... Probably not important, but I'm just going to throw him like right there. Let's play. Game starting. There's our little dude. Now, how do I size you up? Move, rotate, scale. Okay. Ah! Okay, there we go. See how big this guy is now. All right, yeah, that works. Cool. We got a player in. Let's continue the tutorial.
That we can control what is currently being shown. So let's add a new node, hit Control A, search for camera 2D, hit.
Okay, so now we're adding a camera. Let me do this.
And simply drag our player in here. So I'm going to go to the top here and drag in the player. We also need to create a camera so that we can control what is currently being shown.
I just realized I probably shouldn't have scaled them up. Because I want... I'm just going to delete these because I was getting ahead of myself. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. That's what I did. Okay. Okay, our dude is still good. Save that. And when I hit start, okay, there he is in the top corner. All right, cool. So let's go back to what he was doing.
Shown. So let's add a new node, hit Control A, search for camera 2D, hit create. And now if we press F, we can see that we have this huge camera viewport. This is definitely currently too large, so let's zoom in on our camera. I'm going to set the zoom here to 4x4 and simply click.
So 4x4. Okay, there's my camera.
And drag our camera to be on top of the player. And now we can try playing our game. And there you go. We now have a player that is playing an idle animation. And
so I hit play. There's my character. Cool. So I got my game, my player, my camera. Cool.
nothing else is happening. That's because we need to add a script that allows us to move around. So let's close our game, go into our player scene, and with our player node selected, let's press this Add Script button. Here we can choose a template. Of course, we're going to do some programming in this video, but writing player movement can quickly become a bit overwhelming. So for now, we'll use the basic movement template provided by Godot.
Okay.
With the Chase mobile app, things move a little more smoothly. Deposit checks easily and send money quickly. That's convenience from Chase.
Yeah, obviously I do not pay for YouTube Premium, so I'm going to get ads. Okay, so I'll go to player, add script, GD script. Okay, that's my only option. Care by 2D. Okay, basic movement. Script. Okay.
Go in and modify it to play different animations and rebind input to the keys we'd like to use. As for the path here, I'm going to make sure that we put this inside of our scripts folder, and let's just name it player. Let's hit create.
Okay, new folder, scripts.
And
Okay.
as you can see, this creates a script that will move around our character. I know that this might look really confusing at first, but don't worry, we'll
So
have
this
a
is why
look
I
at
had
what
before.
all of this means later. For now, let's just try playing. And our player immediately falls off the screen. That's because we need to give him a collider to stand on. Right
Yep.
now, our player has a collider, but it doesn't have anything to collide with. So in our game, I'm going to go back to the 2D view at the top here. This is where we can change from script view to 2D. Let's add a new node. So let's hit the plus sign. Let's add a static body 2D. And this is another type of physics body. It's the one we use for things that don't need to move. That's why
Got
it's
it.
called static. So it's perfect for creating some ground. Let's hit create. And again, this is going to give us this warning here that it needs a shape. So let's add a collision shape. So I'm going to hit Control A, search for collision shape. And for the shape here, we're going to create a new world boundary shape. The world boundary is a type of collider that is perfect for stuff like, well, world boundaries, because it's going to extend infinitely on the horizontal axis here. So as you can see, it's currently pointing up. We can also point it to the side here, and now it's going to extend infinitely on the vertical. I'm going to hit
Got it.
Control Z to undo that. Instead, I'm going to select the entire static body here. I'm going to change to the Move tool by pressing this icon here,
Got
or
it.
simply W on the keyboard. And I'm going to move it down under our character. Then I'm going to go back to our select tool, which is here, or simply press Q. And while our collider doesn't have any graphics, it's going to be invisible, we can now play. And there we go. Our player now gently lands on the collider, and we can move around using the arrow keys and jump with the spacebar. Now, our player is currently a bit too fast, and I think his jump is a bit too high, so let's modify our script to change that. Let's close our game, go into our script, and at the top here, there are two constants that we can modify, our speed as well as our jump velocity. So I'm going to set the speed to something less, like 130, and the jump velocity to say -300. And now when we play, it looks and feels a lot better. So
All right, let's hit play. Let's check this out. Doing, 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 doing. Okay, so we got that.
our player is moving around, but currently there's not much to look at. So let's build a world to explore. World building 1.0. So to build a world, let's begin by removing our collider here. We're going to build an actual ground for him to stand on. And let's instead add a tile map node. So let's press new node.
This is the downside of looking at it so small. Come on, delete it. Delete the up. Just pain with it being too big. All right, so let's build
And
this.
search for tile map. Now, the most common way to create levels in 2D is by using tiles. In other words,
It's tile map.
we build our game world by drawing different tiles onto a grid. This is a great way to work because we can create a lot of varied levels using just a few tiles. The tile assets we use to paint are normally packed together into one big image, just like our player was. This is called the tile set. So the tile set is a collection of tiles that we can use to paint from, and the tile map that we just created is the node we use to paint these tiles into our world. So to start painting on our tile map, we need to add a tile set. So in our inspector under tile set, we'll create a new tile set, and if we press it here, we get to configure some things about it. The main thing you want to make sure is set correctly is the tile size. The tile set in our asset does indeed have 6.
Okay, let me. Okay, so. Okay, so I think this is where he's on an older version. Let me back up a little bit.
Node we use to paint these tiles into our world. So to
sorry.
start painting on our tile map, we need to add a tile set. So in our inspector under tile set, we'll create a new tile set. And if we press it here, we get to configure some things about it. The main thing you want to make sure is set correctly is the tile size. The tile set in our asset does indeed have 16 by 16 pixel tiles, so we'll just leave that as is.
Okay, so this is an important thing for me to remember in the future when I'm creating my own stuff. 16 by 16. Okay, so I just need to remember what it is, what I created. I can't talk. I need to remember what it is I created the original asset in, because I can do 16 by 16, 32 by 32, 128 by 128. I need to mentally remember being like, hey, remember where you put certain things. Anyway, so this is probably where I need to make a mental note being like, hey, if I'm making something 16 by 16, does it have to stay true with everything else? Because technically I could make a 16 by 16 object, but I can have other things that like 32 by 32. This is going to be a problem for future me. I'm going to say that right now. Future me, remember how you're building your assets.
Now at the bottom here, you can see that we have two tabs. We have the tile set and tile map. So before we can start painting with our tile map, let's go into our tile set and configure this property. The main thing we want to do is drag in our tile set asset. So let's go into our assets folder under sprites and drag in the world tileset.png. It's going to ask us if we would like to automatically create tiles in the atlas. We do, so let's press yes. And now let's make some more room here and we can zoom in to view it. And as you can see, it's actually gone ahead and automatically detected the grid cells that have tiles. If for some reason it's made an error, we can always use our eraser here to remove tiles. In this case here, it thinks that the top of the palm tree is a bunch of different tiles. I'm going to use the eraser to get rid of these and instead go out of the erase mode and then hold down shift while clicking and dragging to turn this into...
Okay, so if I do that and then shift click, yep. Okay, that's the same thing he did.
One big tile. It's also split up the trees into 3 different tiles, but in this case, it's actually something that we want because it allows us to create trees of varying heights. I'll show you this once we start painting. Other than that, I think it looks good. So with this tile set up, we can now go to our tile map and start painting. Make sure that the scene has the select tool and that the tile map has the paint tool enabled. And now let's simply select a tile and start painting it in. If you make a mistake, you can always right click to remove. So I'm just going to fast forward through me drawing out the level here. As you can see, I begin by blocking out the most essential game parts, leaving in room for gameplay objects like moving platforms and enemies.
In the Range Rover Velar,
Okay, just
the
gonna let
driver's
that
seat
play
is
out.
your sanctuary. Schedule your test drive today.
Introducing Samra Origins.
You two ads are so annoying.
A connection to my roots, to my mother.
And then only one...
So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to throw on some music, and we're going to create a level real quick. All right. Okay. See that, and then okay. Okay. Erase that. Let's get someone. Let's see. Let me put something. Set my eraser tool on. Oh, you can right click and delete things. That's convenient. Okay, so let us. I'm not going to worry about vegetation real quick. Okay, I think this looks good right now. What's my warning here? Okay, I think we'll figure that out in a minute. Let us go back.
Once I'm finished with that, I start decorating. And if the trick here is that you can select multiple tiles at once to paint in more than one, and you can always go into select mode in order to select large chunks and move them. Now once I'm ready to start decorating, let me just show you the cool trick with the trees here. So let's say we want
Wait,
to
how did he do that? So oh. Oh, that's nice. That's some quality of life right there. So if I go into the game, he just falls. All right. So obviously this needs some collision. So let's figure out how to do that.
Top. Well, then we can actually just paint the bottom then choose how tall we want the tree to be, and then paint the top. So that's one of the advantages of working with tiles, is that we can also make individual elements really, really flexible.
Okay, so he already put in some vegetation, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna throw in might help if I actually could draw it there. Let's go right there. Let's go right there. Bam, 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 bam. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, now.
So once you're happy with the level, let's just go ahead and press play, and our player is going to fall right off.
Yep, I already found that one out.
To add a physics layer to our tiles. To do
Got
this, we go to our tile map, go under our tile set, physics layers, and add a new layer. Then with this layer, we can go under our tile set, and here we need to choose what tiles belong to the physics layer, because we don't want to collide with everything in our tile map. The trees and bushes, we just want to pass right through.
Yep.
So let's go to paint here, and the property that we want to paint is the physics layer 0 we just created. And now we can actually go ahead and paint onto our tiles these physics settings. So I'm simply
Okay,
going to paint
so that's nice. Bam. So if I just run this, there we go. I'm hiding behind the tree, and I'm just going to run off the map. Doing, doing, doing. Oh! Okay.
onto all the different solid tiles. And if you make a mistake and want to remove a tile, we go here, select clear, and now we can paint with no physics.
So say that one more time.
Solid tiles. And if you make a mistake and want to remove a tile, we go here, select clear, and now we can.
Okay, so there, clear. Okay, so yeah, you can't right click. Okay. And this is where, oh, I remember this. I can adjust the collision shape. Now if I go up to this one, I have this one arc down. Bam, bam, bam. And then for this one, it's just going to be the reverse. Bam, bam, bam. So if I play that, my character should... Come on. Why are you being funky now? Play. Okay. Now he goes down the bridge. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, it's so snappy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. Wee, 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 wee. Okay. Sick. Sick. I like that. So let's go back to tile map, tile set, and I can change, and then I can change shit. Nope. That's nice. That's so nice.
Paint with no physics, or we can go back to the default tile shape, which is the entire tile, and paint with that, or simply hit F to do that. So C, and F are the shortcuts here. Now, there are also...
So if I go to this, C, CF, CF, CF. Okay, got it.
some tiles that we do want physics on, but where we need the collider to only be on part of the tile, such as our bridge here.
And that's what I just did. I'm
bridge,
remembering.
see that if I just
I'm starting to
paint
remember.
physics onto these, it doesn't look right. Instead, we need to go in and only paint a partial collider. So over here on the left, we can actually modify these colliders to exactly suit our needs. We can even add and remove points by clicking and right-clicking. But in this case, 4 points will do just fine, and that's a good shape for our collider. Then we can paint these onto the 3 different tiles. And then for the next one here, we can configure it. This slants up a bit. I'm going to paint that on as well. And then for the final one here, let's go ahead and make that go in the opposite direction. And here you actually want to be pretty precise whenever you have an overlap of the colliders here. I think that looks pretty good. This helps avoid that our character gets stuck. I'm also going to take the tile map and drag it to the very top so that we can always find it. And now when we play, we are indeed colliding with our environment. Awesome. Now we probably want our camera to follow the player because it's currently just running off the screen. So I'm going to make some room here. I'm going to take the camera 2D and simply drag it under the player. Making it a child of the player means that it will just automatically follow the player node.
Okay, so that's exactly how... Well, the logic's still the same for... Logic's still the same as if I were in Blender. This is just a lot easier. This is a lot easier. So if I hit play now, game starting, and it just follows the player. Cool. Doing, 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 doing. Ah. Why are you messaging me right now? Oh, I want him to stay behind. Go back to tile map. I'll figure that one out later. I liked it when he went behind the trees, but...
I'm also going to make sure that the camera is still positioned right on top of the player. And we can even turn on position smoothing to really smooth out our camera follow. So I'm going to enable position smoothing on the camera with a default speed of 5 pixels. And now when we play, as you can see, our camera smoothly follows our player. Awesome.
Okay, so if I hit play, so there's a little bit of a delay. I just want to mess with this real quick. Let's double it, see what that does. This is all about experimentation. That feels snappier. Let me do 2. Okay. So the lesser it is, the slower it reacts to me. Let's do 0.5 pixels. This should be barely responsive. Okay. Okay. I think I'm getting this. Go back to camera. Let's bring this back to 5. Okay. So stop that. Play. Kind of like it. Let's drop it down to 4. Okay, I like that. But drop it back to... nope. Well, I just found a hotkey by accident. Apparently, is it F... What did I do? F6 makes it so that it automatically plays. Cool.
So now we have a first draft of our game world, but so far everything is stuck to the grid. Let's start adding some dynamic and moving elements, such as platforms. Platforms, some that move and some that don't. So whenever we are creating a new element of our game, we begin by making a new scene. And for the root node here, I'm going to hit...
Okay. So I am going to try to figure this one out by myself. So I want to do platform. God, I second guess myself all the time. Okay, this is going to be scene. Then I am going to add a character body 2D. Then I'm going to make a collision shape 2D. For this, actually, I don't think I wanted character body 2D. Was it okay? Sprite 2D. I think that's what I wanted. Yep, that's what I wanted. Okay. Okay. I think I'm already I think I'm already lost. I got too far ahead. Let's see. I'm going to reset this up. I want to see how close I was. So I'm doing platform sprite 2D and then collision shape. I should just be able to take this PNG, throw it over there. I can edit it somehow. I'm not sure how. Put the collision shape on it, and then I'm going to be using a script editor to cause the platform to move back and forth. That's the logic inside of my head. Let's see if I was right.
Hit add and search for the animatable body 2D. This is a physics body that...
I was wrong. Animated sprite 2D. So I am looking for... Oh, come on. Yep. Delete that and delete that. So I am looking for... Might help if I knew how to spell. Animatable body 2D. Okay. Okay.
We use whenever we want to animate a node and still have it collide properly with other nodes in its path, which is perfect for moving platforms that should still collide properly with our player. So let's hit create and let's add some graphics. So Control A, we'll search for sprite and select the sprite 2D.
Okay, so I was one off. Okay. Sprite 2D. I'm assuming this is going to be a parent of the...
And now we can drag in the texture we want.
Yep.
So let's go under our assets, sprites, and drag in the platforms.png.
That's going to be a child of that, correct? Yep. Okay. So from there, I was right. I just didn't know about the animatable body 2D.
Let's hit F and zoom in. And as you can see, this is also a sprite sheet and it's currently just displaying all of them. So let's go in and define exactly which one we want to show. We can do this under region, enabled, and hit edit region. And so we can kind of crop out the element that we want to show. I'm going to change.
Pause that real quick so I can do this. Come on. So I just want this. Let me figure out what he...
It's the snap mode here to pixel snap. And I'm just going to go for a default grass platform.
Okay, so good. He does only just grab one. Got. Okay.
Now when we close it.
So now that we close and our screen.
Go dot. Godo.
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. I'll get right back to right where we were. All right.
Close it. We can see our sprite perfectly cropped out.
Perfect.
Again, we have the warning here. So let's go ahead and add a collision shape 2D. For the shape, I'm going to...
Okay, so I was almost right. Collision shape 2D. And then I am going to use a rectangle. Bam. 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 Bam.
To add a rectangle shape. And now we can simply click and drag this to configure it. Then let's rename our top node here to platform.
Already did that.
And save the scene. So Control S. In our scenes folder, hit save. We've actually created our platform. So in our game scene, we can drag it in, go under scenes, find the platform, drag it into wherever we'd like. And let's hit play. And as you can see, it works. However, one problem right now is that we can't.
Okay, so, and if I just throw, let's go to my tile map, let's remove that, and grab all this. Let's just move it off to the side, like back over here. Then none of this needs to be its own thing. And then I'll put a platform right. Can you use arrow keys to... Okay. I can use arrow keys to move it. Okay. And just create another instance.
Can actually jump onto the platform from underneath. To fix this, we turn it into a one-way platform.
Okay. Before I get into that, let's test. Ah! What the heck? Why did that not work? Save, game, play. There we go. Put that guy right there. And if what he said was correct, oh, it's already working. Huh. What is he talking about? Let me back up a little bit.
And as you can see, it works. However, one problem right now is that we can't actually jump onto the platform from underneath.
Oh,
To
okay,
fix
that
this,
was the
we turn
issue.
it into a one-way platform. So in our platform scene, let's select our collision shape and enable one-way collision. And now when we play, we can jump onto platforms from
So I do that. Game, play. Okay, cool. So I can jump on both ways. Cool.
underneath. However, the player is currently passing behind the platform. This is because the platform is currently after the player in the tree. This means that each frame, the player is drawn first, and then the platform is drawn on top. We could just move the player in the tree, but I don't want to depend on that. Instead, we fix the draw order by changing the z-index of the player. So in our player scene, we go under ordering and set the z-index to something higher, like 5. By default, all visible nodes have a z-index of 0. Because they all have the same index, they are drawn according to their order in the tree. So by setting the z-index to a higher value, like 5, we ensure that our player will always appear on top.
So if I do that and I hit play, then he should... Nope. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, so he goes in front of it now. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And now if we play, we can see that our player passes in front of the platform. So our platform is working, but it's currently just hovering there. We might want some platforms to move around to increase difficulty. So let's use animation to do that. I'm going to leave this platform here as kind of a static platform. I'm just going to play.
I'm just going to move these now to about where I want them.
Place it there. Then I'm going to place another platform over here by simply dragging it in. This is the platform that I would like to move back and forth. In fact, let me just go into the tile map and make this gap even larger.
Where's your playlist taking you? Down the highway? To the mountains?
There we
Nope.
go. So to add animation to this platform only, we simply select it, add a new node, and we want to use an animation player. Let's hit create. And now we can
Okay, and he's doing this. Okay. So let me, this is my platform 2. I'm going to take this, Control A. Again, doesn't help that I don't know how to spell. Player. Okay.
add a new animation, and let's name that move. Animation players in Godot are extreme.
What? Oh. Maybe I should look at the box that pops up. I just don't know what's going to pop up a new window or not. Okay.
Extremely powerful because they allow us to animate pretty much anything. In this case, we just want to do something really simple. We want to go to our platform and make a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here. Let's hit create. And now we can add a new animation, and let's name that move. Animation players in Godot are extremely powerful because they allow us to animate pretty much anything. In this case, we just want to do something really simple. We want to go to our platform and make a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here and hit create. Then we can go forward in our timeline. And here to say 1 second, move our platform to the right. So I'm going to click and drag. I'm also going to hold down shift to kind of snap it to one axis.
Nope. And then add another keyframe. Q.
Let's move it to there, and let's add another keyframe.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can see that if we play, the animation plays. We also want this to loop, so I'm going to select loop here. However,
So select loop. Okay, so we're not going back and forth. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Nope. That ain't it. Onion, that does nothing for me. Set value. Okay. Nope, that's not what I want. So I want to loop. I'm not seeing anything that tells me what does this do? Absolutely nothing. Okay, maybe I should actually listen.
this is going to loop in a way that it snaps back to the original keyframe. Instead, let's press it again. And now you can see that it's going.
I saw that. I saw that too. Okay. Let's stop this. Let's have it 3. No? Are you going to let me extend? Oh, it's right over here. 3 seconds. Let's move this keyframe all the way over here. Let's get that set up. And now when I play, yeah, I like that speed a lot better. And bunk. And bunk. Okay. Stop that. Hit play. It's not playing. So if I hit that, play on load, it moves. Look, guys, it moves. And I can fall to my death. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Okay. We gotta wait for it. Okay, it's coming back. What? Does it not move the player when I'm standing on it? Okay. Just real quick while I'm doing this. I'm going to copy, paste, except for this guy. Platform. Throw you right here. Now for you, I want a new keyframe right here. Set and then I want you to go straight down about here. Okay, everything should be good. And it's not, because I did not set it in the right. I didn't set my next keyframe. So let's go. No. Straight down, right about there. Hit the keyframe there. Now this should work. Yep, now that works. And I'm going to make this one 2 seconds long. Let's bring that keyframe in, make sure, yep, perfect. And it goes back and forth. Stop that. Now if I hit play, what the heck is going on? Yeah, let's delete that right now. I'm actually going to bring this guy back up here. Oh, wait a second. I think I saw what I need to do. I'm going to copy, paste as sibling. Nope. Paste up and down. Nope. On platform. There he is. I'm going to grab this one, play it, put it right there. Set my first keyframe. Go over here. Delete this keyframe. Let's bring it back to 1. Let's bring this to 2. Should have had some music going. Okay. Now, bring it to right there. Add a keyframe there. Everything should loop. And now that, because this is a different name, they should do different things, if I'm correct. No, it looks like I need to create something completely different. Okay. Let's grab this one. So it looks like I just straight up need to okay. I just need to straight up make a new let's make this 2 seconds. There is probably a faster way to do this, but so let me go back to my platform, get a keyframe down. And let's go to 2 seconds. Right there. Create our next keyframe. Okay, I'll figure out how to play with that later. Have that start and then why isn't my collision working on that one? Okay. This is back. Let me reset everything. Okay. Let's make this 3 seconds again. Make a loop, bam. And bring that out. Go to my tile map, select all this, and just move it up. So I'll figure that out in a second. Guy jumping around, and for some reason he doesn't like staying on the platform, but what can you do? I'm sure we'll figure that one out later.
Our cats just love great customer.
Going to start ping-ponging back and forth. If this is currently too fast, we can simply increase the length of our animation. So here's the length. Let's set it to 1.5 instead, and drag our last keyframe to the end. And there we go. We now have a moving platform. Let's just make sure that we set it to autoplay. And now when we play the game and go to the place where we made our platform, we can see that it's moving back and forth. And if we jump onto it, the player will smoothly follow it. Really cool. And there's already so much you can do with this.
Why wasn't my character smoothly following it? Okay, let's just bring this closer. Platform 2. Let's go to animation player. Oh, I need to be in platform. Should be fun. that keyframe. Let's play the animation. Let's make it 2 seconds. Why is my character not staying on it? I do not know. Let's just delete this platform for right now. Have everything set up the same way. Maybe just gonna make it a little bit bigger. I know why. It's because the collision shape wasn't a child of the sprite. If this works, I'm going to be mad. And I died. Okay. Ah, come on. Let's try one more time. No, that wasn't it. Is it because... I don't think that would change anything. Okay, so that didn't change anything. So the collision is staying put. So I should just, yeah, I'm standing right there. The collision's not moving with the animation. Why? Why is the animation not moving? Watch it just be that name change. The collision is not moving with the platform. I don't get that. Why is this not working? The collision is staying there and is just not moving. So I'm just going to delete this. Okay. So now I don't have a platform. Platform in. Okay. Now. Animation player. New. Move. Okay. Set this to 2. Platform. That scared the crap out of me, dear God. Hey, Zay, thanks for the yeah, thanks for the follow. I didn't even think anybody was even watching. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome to my nightmare of wondering why things aren't working. All right. So this should work. Why isn't it working? And the platform's just not moving. Is it the only game you play? Well, I'm trying to learn how to make games. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. And so far, I'm not too successful. So this is going to be a very long journey. I just started today, so see what we come up with. I'm just following a YouTube tutorial right now, but I'm having an issue that the guy making the tutorial is not having. So I'm trying to... Did that work? Favorite game to stream and why? I don't have my old setup. If I had my old setup, it'd be Tears of the Kingdom, mainly because I never get tired of playing that game. It's my relaxing game. It's something that I love to do. I love discovering new things in it, new ways to play the games. Obviously, you got all the glitches and everything. It just makes a lot of fun. Outside of Tears of the Kingdom, Skyrim is another favorite of mine. And then I streamed Delta Force before. I have a lot of fun with that game. Okay. Okay, so animation's working. Again. Yeah, those games are good times. So, as you can see from this knight right now, he should be standing on the platform and moving with the platform, but he's not. And that's what I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I really haven't. I've streamed on and off. I've never been consistent about streaming. So I'm trying to just get in the habit of just hopping on whenever I'm actually like doing something on the computer. My main goal is I want to make games. So the reason why I'm streaming is to kind of document the process of me, one, learning, showing how I'm discovering certain things, as far as what game engine I'm using, the different tutorials, just trying to show the process of me learning a new skill. So it's something I've been wanting to do very, very long time. And the few times I have streamed, I've enjoyed it, even if there's not that many people watching. I don't know. There's something about it that just really helps me focus in on what I'm doing. I think that's the real reason why I like it. I just like being able to focus on one thing and not getting distracted by a bunch of different things. Still can't figure out why this thing isn't. Thank you. Trying to figure out why this collision is not moving with the platform. Root motion. I'm going to rewatch what this guy did. Trying to figure out what I missed. What strategies I use to promote my stream? Not doing a whole lot currently, just because I want to get into a groove and a set schedule for streaming, which I have not set up. Life's been a little chaotic. That's one of the main reasons why I don't stream that much. I'm using X right now. Whenever I go live, I'm making sure I'm going out on X, and then from this is going to be a YouTube channel. So I'm going to be obviously saving all these recordings and putting them up on YouTube. So just trying to, and I'm also going to be cutting stuff up for like TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Okay, let's figure this out.
We want to use an animation player. Let's hit create. And now we can add a new animation, and let's name that move. Animation players in Godot are extremely powerful because they allow us to animate.
Wait, hold up. Did he not get the same prompt that I did?
A new animation, and let's name that move. Animation players in Godot are extremely
interesting. Okay. He did not He didn't get the same prompt that I did. So I want to see. Animation player. What are your hobbies? Right now, making video games is one thing that I'm trying to make a hobby. Playing video games itself is a hobby of mine. But outside of that, I do a lot of stuff in Blender. I like 3D modeling, creating my own animations, simulations, different stuff like that. Drawing. I enjoy drawing. Anything like really artistic. But I'm trying to like take those skills and throw it into something that I can make something bigger. And that's why I chose trying to learn game development. New move. Okay. Interesting. I didn't get it that time. So if I hit keyframe, oh, that's where I got the pop-up. Let's see if he gets it.
Powerful because they allow us to animate pretty much anything. In this case, we just want to do some.
Your hobbies are web development and art also? That's sick. Yeah, I've messed around with web development, more front end, HTML, CSS. That's it. Yeah. I understand how most things work with web development, but I've only done front end stuff. So none of the really complex things when it comes to web development, or in my opinion, I don't know the complicated things in web development. I just understand how a lot of it works. But yeah, that's really cool.
Something really simple. We want to go to our platform and make a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here.
Yeah, so his stuff is stacked differently than mine. So, okay, so he did get the same pop-up.
Create. Then we can go.
And he just leaves it like that. Okay.
Forward in our timeline here to, say, 1 second. Move our platform to the right. So I'm going to click and drag. I'm also going to hold down shift to kind of...
Do I have a Discord? I do not. That is sometime in the future. I don't have that big of a following on really any platform besides TikTok, but I've never been consistent on TikTok. So if things go well, I'll decide to make a Discord later on in the future. I just feel like I should create a community first. It's a weird way to say it, but if I don't have people interested into it yet, then we'll go. I guess we'll just see how the future goes. I do have, actually, let me double check. I think I have like a random Discord server that I don't use that I'll use in the future, but I'm not worried. That's not something I'm worried about just yet. Okay.
kind of snap it to one axis. Let's move it to...
Also, I'm really bad at texting and responding to people online, so that's the other reason why Discord is not my top priority right now. I'm really bad at just like messaging people in general, like my wife right now. Do you have an Instagram ID? Yes, it should be in my bio here on Kick. No, let me double check. I just lost my video. That's fine. 1 second. Everything should be veteran hipster on. Should be. Yep, veteran hipster on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And YouTube. Yeah, I have the same username across all platforms. I try to keep it consistent.
Drawn first.
Okay. All right. What was I doing? Okay, I was doing this. 2. Bam. Maybe. Maybe when I'm doing this, it's not moving. The collision as well. Sending a request on Instagram? Yeah, I'll look out for it, definitely.
Here in the tree. This means that each frame, the player is drawn first, and then the platform is drawn on top. We could just move the player in the tree, but I don't want to depend on that. This platform here as kind of a static platform, I'm just going to place it there. Then I'm going to place another platform over here by simply dragging it in. This is the platform that I would like to move back and forth. In fact, let me just go into the tile map and make this gap even larger. There we go. So to add animation to this platform only, we simply select it, add a new node, and we want to use an animation player. Let's hit create. And now we can add a new animation, and let's name move. Animation players in Godot are extremely powerful because they allow us to animate pretty much anything. In this case, we just want to do something really simple. We want to go to our platform and make a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here and hit create. Then we can go forward in our timeline here to say 1 second, move our platform to the right. So I'm going to click and drag. I'm also going to hold down shift to kind of snap it to one.
Okay, so he's not using the move tool while he's doing this. I think that might be my issue. Which I feel like the move, because the collision is part of the platform, I thought it would grab both, but apparently it only grabs the sprite. Interesting. Okay, so let's go platform. Got my first keyframe set. Let's make this 2. Okay, Zaylee Watson. I'll look right now. Okay, I haven't got anything just yet. Just look you up. I don't know why. I haven't seen anything yet. But right now, I'm kind of on a time crunch. I want to figure this out. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to keep going with the stream, and I'll figure it out offline. All right. Guess I'm going to have to start cooking dinner in a little bit. Okay. So. Do you have 170 followers on Instagram? Yeah, I think that's me. Sounds about right. Okay. Now, this should work. If that was the solution, I'm going to be mad. Okay, platform's moving, and nope, didn't work. Why is this not working? What am I missing?
One axis. Let's move it there, and let's add another keyframe. And now we can see that if we play, the animation plays. We also want this to loop, so I'm going to select loop here. However, this is going to loop in a way that it snaps back to the original keyframe. Instead, let's press it again, and now you can see that it's going to start ping-ponging back and forth. If this is currently too fast, we can simply increase the length of our animation. So here's the length. Let's set it to 1.5 instead, and drag our last keyframe to the end. And there we go. We now have a moving platform. Let's just make sure that we set it to autoplay. And now when we play the game and go to the place where we made our platform, we can see that it's moving back and forth. And if we jump onto it, the player will smoothly follow it. Really cool. And there's already so much you can do with it.
Trying to figure out why. Okay.
Everyone said I'd have to pay extra to earn IT certifications. Everyone except WG.
At each frame, the player is drawn first, and then the platform is drawn on top. We could just move the player in the tree.
Okay. I already did all this.
Here on up. We might. Then I'm going to place a. We simply select it, add a new node, and we want to use an animation player. Let's say create.
Actually, I need to
And
go.
add a new animation. And here, so let's go
I need to figure out how we set this up.
2D. For the shape, I'm going to add a rectangle shape. And now we can simply click and drag this to configure it. Then let's rename our top node here to platform and save the scene. So Control S. In our scenes folder, hit save. We've actually created our platform. So in our game scene, we can drag it in, go into scenes, find the platform.
Is that what I forgot to do? Should I wait for your response? Yes. It's going to take me a second. Why is this not working? Why isn't this working? Set on save. Set on save, new form. Is that what I'm missing? Yeah, I shouldn't be able to stand here. Let's delete that. I'm just going to move the platform right here. Come in. I didn't see your request for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I was looking for it. I went through DMs, notifications. I didn't see it. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So collision's there. Let's do this. Let's just do the up and down. Some other place we can talk. I'm telling you right now that I'm bad at responding to messages, so there's not really an ideal way for me to keep going through stuff. Like Instagram would probably be the safest bet. Animation player. Create. Hasn't made it yet.
We've rescued the new salted caramel Butterfinger. Grab your own.
I love ads.
And I know this sounds like a line, but I swear you're the something I ever seen.
A new animation, and let's name that Move. Animation players in Godot are extremely powerful because they allow us to animate pretty much anything. In this case,
But yeah, you can ask my wife. I'm pretty bad at responding just in general.
we just want to do something really simple. We want to go.
Actually, this might give me my answer. Root node platform. Nope, that's not it. That's on.
To our platform and make a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here and hit create.
Okay, so he's underneath Node 2D. This is what he's in. I'll be right back. I need to use his restroom. All right. Back to this. 3.
Great. Then we can go forward in our timeline here to say 1 second, move our platform to the right. So I'm going to click, so I'll hit the key right here, a keyframe under transform for the position. So I'll hit the key right here and hit create. Then we can go forward in our timeline here to say 1 second, move our platform to the right. So I'm going to click and drag. I'm also going to hold down shift to kind of snap it to one.
Okay, let's put that right there. So I got my... Then loop it. Automatically play. Still having the same issue. I feel like too money. Is it because of that? Did that fix it? Okay, there's no collision there. There's just no collision at all. Q. All right. So that didn't work. That doesn't work. Does this need to be a child of this is what I am wondering. Nope. Again, it's just not animating that. Needs to be a child of that. Delete that. No, that wouldn't work. So I need this plus this. Wait a second. Is this what I need? No, that's not what I need. This. And then I need collision shape. 2D, bam. That's all I want. Collision should just look like that. I think it's say platform 2. Why isn't that updating now? I don't know why my Creative Cloud's going off the rails right now. Okay, so I got a second one created. Was it because start up there, and now I'm going to do this new move. Make it 2 seconds. Platform, I transform, I hit the keyframe, I don't touch anything, I go to 2 seconds. Everything should be good. Snap into place. Let's make it get rid of there. Add new keyframe. Then we're going to loop that. Play to make sure it actually works. It does. Reset it. Now if I go into this, watch me, I fixed it before, I just forgot to refresh it. And I forgot to hit that. Okay. Watch this work now. It doesn't work. At all, actually. So that means no, it has to be part of that. It has to be a child of that. I do not know what I'm doing wrong. I do not know what I'm doing wrong. Let us ask the all-knowing ChatGPT. I'm trying to animate a platform, but one second. My cat was trapped in our bedroom. Okay. In Godot, I'm trying to animate the platform, but the collision. Shape 2D is not collision. Shape 2D is not being animated with the platform. Of the moving node. It is. If you're animating a node 2D, spread 2D, side by 2D, be sure the node that's being animated, which it is. Oh, wait. This might be what I need to do. Oh, it's because... Oh. Because I don't need a 2D node. If I... Can I just cut these? And then paste. Right. Okay. So if I take these two.
The social posts yet? Oh, I'll get those right to you.
I see my problem here. Okay, that's why I need it. So this should say platform now. Save scene. Save. Do you want to overwrite it? Yes. Should be able to just delete this. Now if I go back to my game, I delete this. And I add this now. There it is. I figured it out. It's because I had it as a 2D node and I need to have it as this thing, animated body 2D. So this is trash now. Don't save. Everything should work just fine now. Okay. So now if I do the animation player, create the new animation, type in what? New animation, type in move. Then I set my time for 2.5 seconds. I click back on my platform. Now I am seeing what he is seeing now. This looks like this now. Why? Okay, so I need to pay attention that whenever I'm putting in a new node, I just don't straight up do this. I can do another node. Okay. So that's important. I need to remember that. Remember that. Okay, cool. Okay. So now if I go into platform, node 2D, I hit this keyframe, I hit create, and then I take it, I hit shift, I put it where I want to, and then I move my timer right there. Then I actually drag it and move it while holding shift so it's the same line. And then when I hit the key right here, then I cause it to loop back and forth. I am going to make this cubic because why not? I'm going to make sure that it plays from the beginning. Look at that. It's moving. It has a nice little animation. I'm going to stop it, reset it, and then once I refresh and play my game, it's moving, and the character moves with the platform. Why was that such a simple fix? Why was that such a simple fix? I am so upset with myself right now. And I'm realizing that that was being covered the entire time. That was so annoying. I'm going to put my chat right there. Why was that so annoying? It works. It just works. It just works. Instead of going through and thinking that I hit 2D scene and I get this no 2D right there. No, that's not what you do to set it up. No, I don't want to save. What I need to do was hit this little plus button and hit other node. Then I do that. But also, I'm realizing it's still under node 2D, so I feel like 2D scene. What did I do with the player? The player is just the player. The platform is just the platform. And this is a scene. Okay. All I needed to do, because it was coming out with a little circle like this. So it was just in the scene. But because I made sure that, hey, I want this to be an animated thing. Putting another platform in. I'm going to make sure that I got this. Okay. So if I do this properly. Control A. Control A. Animated player. Bam. Or, yeah, animated player. Left and right. Okay. And then from here, this one. 3 seconds. Transform. Get a keyframe. Go to there. Grab this. Grab this. Move over there. And now the keyframe. Play from the beginning. Go back and forth. Cubic. Okay. The animations are playing. And it works. It just works. It just works. I didn't realize that 2D scene was... I thought that was my first step, but it's not. I just need to put in exactly what I need to put in. Because it's a computer. It's going to do exactly what you tell it to do. Okay. This is where I need to call it quits. I'm saving this entire project. And going to end stream now. Thank you for hanging out, if you did. And this is just this is the start of something new. Start of something new. With that, I'm signing off. That could have been so much easier. Anyway, deuces.